Last time on Star Trek Deep Space Nine.
Tomorrow morning, first thing, him seeing that his son is 14 and about to go off the rails with Nog. So,
gosh, this guy was so intolerant. It doesn't.
A Ferengi.
It doesn't work, does it?
Him being intolerant.
It doesn't work. He can be tolerant of Tusk 2.0. This is how they live. But by golly, if the Ferengi want to influence his son.
There's a line there. He's never trusted that Ferengi boy.
Dude, that is so racist. I can't even believe how racist it is.
Has he ever said Nog's name?
No.
He just calls him the Ferengi boy.
And now the conclusion.
The wormhole does bring them our way, doesn't it?
Everyone wants a piece of the new frontier.
And I'm sure you've already tried to sell it to a few.
You don't know what any of this is about, do you? You just don't get it!
If you've been pierced recently, it might sound slightly different, but I assure you, do not adjust your smartphone or your desktop computer. You have encountered Audio Oomox. I am your host, Simon Van Gelder, with my erstwhile co-host,
John Christopher.
And we're back. Hey, thank you so much for hanging out and waiting for us to enduring the long wait between our last episode and this one. That one's on me. I had to do an extensive amount of work. And trust me, I was working 14-hour days for almost 10 days straight, and you would not have wanted to hear a show. I was so awful. I was in misery, and it's like only now am I finally getting my footing back. But we're back. John, my gosh, my buddy, I have missed you. How are you?
I'm doing pretty well, my friend.
Yeah.
I'm doing well. Yeah. Had a little bit of a fender bender. Apparently when a car is turning right in front of you, the forward collision alert doesn't necessarily catch that. So I clipped a car.
Oh, were you? Please tell me you weren't texting while driving.
No. I was actually listening to a podcast.
Ours?
No.
You want to share which one you were listening?
I can. I was listening to the Robcast.
Who's that?
That's Rob. What's his name?
Okay.
Rob Bell. Rob Bell.
Rob Bell. Who is Rob Bell?
Yes. You sent me a link to one of his podcasts.
Rob Bell.
The Robcast. Yeah.
Is it funny?
It has some funny moments. It's more on the spiritual side. And,
I recall. Yeah. Well, that's a good podcast shout out to give it. I want to give another one out to Mysterious Goings On. I believe that we're going to be entangled with them somehow with an advertising trade-off and soon.
Awesome.
Yeah,
awesome.
It's about, if you're into mystery books, writing, or creativity, that's what this show is about, and we'll have more about that later. But so you clipped this car. Was anyone injured?
No one was injured. Of course, I'm insured and I have accident forgiveness. So the problem is I have much more difficulty forgiving myself in those instances.
Well, most people who drink insure need accident forgiveness. So,
yes, they do. Indeed.
That was bad.
Indeed.
Well, I mean,
it depends.
Oh. It's funny because we'll be there soon.
Yes.
Try not to beat yourself up too much about it, buddy. It happens.
Yeah. It was pretty minor damage on my car, and so I take it in tomorrow. They'll or Saturday they'll take a quick peek at it.
Your electric car, yeah.
My electric car. It's electric.
That's funny. It's funny. I was in an Uber the other day, an Uber situation last week because I was running a conference, and as you well know, most conferences end with some kind of reception, and then there might be an after reception dinner, and then after that, an after reception dinner, after reception drinking session. And so I Ubered, and the guy who was the Uber driver was an off-duty police officer, and we had this discussion about how to act when you're pulled over by a police officer and all that. And I remarked to him, I haven't been pulled over in 12 years. And I haven't had an accident in longer than that. And so it's just, he was like, wow. And I was like, yeah, I'm a pretty careful driver there, officer. But and so it's just interesting to hear that, I bet it's been a long time since you've been in an accident.
Oh yeah, 5 years, 6 years.
Yeah.
Something like that.
7.
And
maybe.
haven't had a ticket in 20.
Jesus Marumba, are you serious?
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm a fairly safe driver as well.
See, my wife's not.
Yeah.
She backs into everything. Except me. I'm just saying. Hey now.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, but seriously, she does. She's like, I find little scratches, or like the kind of scratches that'll wear away, like you could buff off with some gasoline on the side of the car, and I'm like, where did this come from? She just rolls her eyes and goes, well, I was at a parking garage. What do you want? I'm like, I want you to not hit something.
I get the door dings because my wife and we have a 2-car garage.
So do we, yes.
I park on the right-hand side.
Right.
And so when the kids open the car door, on my wife's car, bam.
Oh, yeah. And I bet I know her. I bet that makes her right eyelid flutter when that happens.
Yes.
Because you get it's like when you go to a Chinese restaurant, you order chicken almond ding, and you eat the chicken and the almond, and you're just left with the ding. Well, nobody likes to be left with
side of the car.
Yeah, you don't want to be left with a ding. Give me a break.
Yeah.
So before we get to this episode, reminder, we are on the Twitter at Oomox Podcast. I haven't looked, but I don't think we're not progressing towards our goal. We need 8 more positive reviews before we will go to a Facebook page and t-shirts, folks. So get busy on iTunes, Facebook page, and t-shirts.
Yes.
All right. So before we get to this episode, this week's episode, which is the Nagus.
But first, the trend.
Okay. Hey, can I start? Is that okay?
Yes, please.
I'll be boring.
Mm-hmm.
I am drinking a martini. How about you, sir? I'm actually mixing it up. I'm actually having a decent vodka this time. I have Belvedere.
Very
Belvedere,
nice.
come here, boy.
Come here, boy. Yes. So I'm doing bourbon, rocks, water.
He's doing these little pincers with his fingers, where it's like bourbon is like 5 inches, rocks is like an inch, and water is like
it was just 2 fingers.
What kind of bourbon do you have your fingers in?
I believe it was that Cooper's something.
Cooper's Hawk Cooper's
Mark. Cooper's Mark.
Cooper's Mark.
Yeah. It's not bad. It's
No.
I mean in that medium price range. It's not a premium bourbon or a long aged bourbon.
You shared that with me when I visited you in your fair town.
Yeah.
And it was delicious. Yeah. We would have nightcaps with that a couple of nights in a row, didn't we?
We did indeed. We
put a dent in that.
That's
the Cooper's Mark.
Put a dent in that half gallon of Tito's as well.
You're like, I left, and you're like, damn it, there's none freaking left.
Yeah, that's all right. That's why there's a Costco within 2 miles of my house.
You know what I'm looking forward to, brother? You're coming to my town.
October.
In October.
Yes. That's right.
How much do this? You know what? Let's tease this for now because it's only August. But
yes.
But John's coming to town. He's bringing the fam, and he's bringing his Pittsburgh Steeler loving fam, and they're going to come to Arrowhead, home of the Chiefs, and it's going to be the Cheeler Bowl for real.
Indeed.
Oh man, dude, listen, I sent you that thing.
I know it looks very closely matched.
Power rankings got the Steelers at 3, and they got the Chiefs at 4. I mean,
It could be quite a battle.
If Big Ben gets hurt, you guys are screwed. You do know that.
Yes, I do. Because we've got Landry.
you got porn stash Landry Jones, but and you don't. Do you have Le'Veon Bell back or not?
I don't think he's been practicing yet. We're trying to get a contract signed.
Yeah, you guys are screwing around. You should not screw around with Le'Veon Bell. You should just make him happy, is my opinion.
You would think.
The Chiefs, we are at full strength. We've got everybody we need. We've got a great backup QB. Alex Smith is in fear of his job, so it's all looking pretty good.
Yeah, it's all out there on the table. And this may be Ben's last year, so he's going for a championship. So
he should go for it, but he's so broke down, man. I mean, sorry, but he's beat up, and that's I don't say that like washed up. I just say it like he's a gladiator, you know.
Right. Yeah.
And he's just beat. But we're recording this on a Thursday night, not tomorrow night. It's a preseason game here in town.
I think there's one tonight.
There is.
Who's playing tonight?
As soon as you and I get off this recording, I'm going to go watch whatever it is because I'm ready. I'm ready for some football, folks.
Yeah. Yeah.
There is a game. It's
yes.
Oh shoot! Who is it? It's somebody I want to see.
We've got Falcons and Dolphins, Vikings and Bills.
I know that the Texans lost, or was it lost to somebody last night?
Yeah,
but it's all preseason; it doesn't really count. So
right, it doesn't. But it's nice to see some of the young talent.
Well, like last year, my family we went out to Arrowhead and saw the Chiefs beat the Green Bay, but I mean, Aaron Rodgers I don't even think played more than a couple of snaps, and that was the end of it. And then it was just RB team, you know. But still, it's the excitement. I love football season. I'm excited. I'm excited to see you. It's going to hurt like hell if Steelers beat us in our home turf, but you know, we're going to agree to have fun and laugh. And if it's starting to go the wrong way, I'm going to just drink a lot and be a happy drunk and not be a mad, spiteful. Because, and I know you in person will be like more gentle than you generally are like from far away. When When you're like rubbing it in and shiz. Oh God.
You get rights to rib until they play again.
You totally do.
That's just part of the Cheeler Bowl.
Rights to rib, but you don't like grab the wound with a big handful of salt and just. You don't.
Oh no.
And that's where I because and here's the deal. I don't get mad when we lose doing okay. I get mad when we lose because we do stupid shit. And we have lost to you guys doing stupid shit. And it made me remember the last time I got so angry and I was like, I'm not mad at you, but I'm so furious I can't talk right now. I know I am sorry, but at least I was honest enough about my emotions to tell you that. So
sure.
All right,
that's reasonable.
All right.
Okay.
So the Tranya.
So welcome to the DS9 NFL preseason preview.
I'm Nagus Sims. He's God.
So we got the Tranya out of the way. You mentioned
what are you drinking? Oh yeah, we already said. Go ahead.
Yeah, but you had that said something about that reminding you of a story.
Oh my gosh! So this drink is pretty sublime, this martini. So I have to tell you real quick, and I did something amazing yesterday. It's the first time in my life.
Okay.
Yeah, and you know it doesn't involve my virginity because I have a child, but it is close. I went to a sensory deprivation tank for the first time.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
How was it?
Oh my gosh! If you've never experienced a sensory deprivation tank, if you've never, gone into complete darkness, floating on about 1,100 pounds of Epsom salt in the darkness with earplugs in and nothing but you and your very soul amidst the void, you must try it.
Yeah. I've wanted to. My one fear is I suffer from pretty severe tinnitus, so I'm afraid I would just be laying there listening to my head ring.
You probably would hear that, but the trick, and this is what they told me, was, and I was like, oh, geez, can I have music? And like, no, that's the whole point. It's depriving, the brain needs to be, the body is deprived of having to prop itself up due to gravity because you're floating. And by the way, there's so much of that Epsom salt in there. It's like being in the Great Salt Lake times 10. You can just lay there. You will not fall over. You will not drown. You're just laying there and you spread eagled or however you want to do it, naked as the day you were born, Nobody can see you. It doesn't matter. You shower, you get in, you lay down. I mean, I had no problem. Some people have a lot of problem with that. I did. You know me, John.
Yeah.
I instantly just was like, I'm good. But then when the lights went down, and the music went off, and my earplugs were in, and it's completely dark. And then my first thought was, oh shit, I'm stuck with myself now. Seriously, I was like, I'm going to be so freaking bored. So I went to my go-tos. Yeah. Okay, think about it this way. When you're either trying to meditate or go to sleep, everybody has their go-tos. I mean, a lot of the time I'm listening to a podcast or a story, and if I don't have that, I start thinking of certain sweet thoughts that help me drift away, and I'm not going to go into that here.
Sure.
I went to those, and those went away. I went to thinking about my next novel. That went away. And then all of a sudden, before I even realized it, I think probably half an hour went by, and I could not tell if my eyes were open or closed, or if I had been asleep or dozing or just in a weird altered state of consciousness. But I would say for about a good 5 minutes, I got out of my own head.
Yeah.
And I'm going to tell you something. It's not bullshit, and it was real. And I've been extremely stressed the past 4 or 5 months. And John, you know this, and listeners, if you don't know, it's okay. But work has been a trial, and stress and money problems and this and that, things that you're all probably dealing with, listeners. But I got this gift from my daughter and wife. I mean, I suggested it. I wanted to try it. I'd always been making noise. And so I finally scheduled it after a lot of heavy stuff was done. And I went, and I'm going to go back. Yeah. I know what it's like to be adrift, and I loved it. And it was, I may have told you, I had a business trip to Curacao a few months ago, and I remember, did I tell you this? And listeners, sorry if I'm repeating myself on the podcast, but if I mentioned that I went out like after dark, like when nobody else was in the infinity pool at the place I was staying in Curacao, and I could see in the distance lightning striking the ocean in the distance, and I look up and it's like the stars are this immense palette of gorgeous pinpricks, millions of them, of light, and I was laying there trying my best to float and just observe that. Well, this was similar, but there was absolutely no light, and it was easy to float, no effort. And the day I was done, I want to tell you something. I was as mellow as I've been in probably a year. I slept better last night than I've slept in probably a year. I woke up today, and people noticeably said, "Hey, what's with you?" And I'm like, "What? Am I okay?" Because people lately have been saying, "What's with you? You look really exhausted. Are you okay?" And instead, I got from 3 different people, "Hey, what's with you? You look really kind of peaceful, and everything looks good with you. You doing all right? Is everything good?" I'm like, "Yeah." But it says a lot that they thought that I looked peaceful and okay. Right. And that was different. So I guess I want to say is if you've never done a float, and by the way, it's not like Altered States with William Hurt, that movie that was kind of spooky. This place was like you go into this big room. It's like a small bedroom, and inside there's a shower next to this. They call it a tank, but it's a big box. It's a big room inside there with a door. You shower. You get into this room. You close the door. The door doesn't lock. You can get out anytime you need to. Most people, you're not encouraged to do that because they don't want you to ruin your experience. But if you've had a panic or whatever, you can open the door and there's ambient light in the room outside there where you could go. But I didn't do that. But the point is, you go in there and then you go for an hour and you become one with whatever thing you want to become one with. You come out, you shower again to get all that much Epsom salt. You're almost slick and slimy with salt. Right. So you have to shower all that off your body and you get it out of your hair. You put on a robe, then you go change clothes. And then you can go sit in this quiet room with some soft lighting and drink water like you would at a spa. And then I went. But I want to tell you, I don't know why I went off on this big aside about this, but it was, I'm not going to say life-changing, but it's certainly in my quest to try to find some peace and calm in my life, it was really effective.
Right. Nice.
Even better than a good martini, I'm afraid.
Wow. So, about how much something like that run?
Well, this one was a gift, and I think for an hour at this place, it was it wasn't cheap. It was probably like $90, but then you can do a 90-minute one for like $125, and you can buy passes at this place. Like my wife and I could share a pass and go like unlimited for X amount. I don't know, but It's not something I would do obviously every day or every week. It's something that I would love to do once a quarter, maybe 4 times a year, just to kind of center myself.
Yeah, I'd be afraid I'd fall asleep.
I did. I think I did. I think I did. But you won't.
And then do they come buzz you when your time's up? Is that how it works?
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't explain. So when you get in, here's what happens. The guy, the attendant, he explains everything to me, and he goes, "Okay, I'm going to hit this button. When I hit this button, you have 7 minutes. That means 7 minutes to get in the shower, get all the stuff out of your hair, rinse anything that they don't want any impurities getting into the actual." Salt tank.
The primordial goo.
It's like the goo.
Come here. There's something I want to show you. You see this? This is you. I'm serious. Right here. Life is about to form on this planet for the very first time. A group of amino acids are about to combine to form the first protein. The building blocks of what you call life. Strange, isn't it? Everything you know, your entire civilization, it all begins right here in this little pond of goo.
But yeah, so you get that. So you have 7 minutes. So I took 2 minutes to shower and wash my hair and clean that out. And then I get in, and then you ease yourself in, and then you kind of acclimate. I immediately acclimated to floating. And all the while, the lighting and there's some ambient music is going down, 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 down. And you have earplugs in because they want you to have earplugs in. So you can hear yourself breathe. You can feel your heartbeat, but then that goes away. I mean, you still have a heart beating, obviously, but so then, so when it's over, all of a sudden, not all of a sudden, but slowly but surely, the lights come back up, the music goes back up, and then it's like, okay, it's time to get up, and then you get up, and like you would think, oh, I'm going to be horribly disoriented when I get up from being weightless, maybe for a whole 5 seconds, and then I just grabbed the handle and I got out the door and showered again, washed my hair, conditioned it, put my robe on, went and changed clothes, went to the little nice quiet room and went on my day.
Have some cucumber water and
basically that kind of shit. Yeah.
All right, awesome.
Yeah,
awesome. I would love to give that a try as well. I probably sleep most of the time. Is my fear, but yeah, I would enjoy that.
I would love to hear how it works for you if you do it.
Yeah. I'll let you know.
All right.
I'll let you know.
Well, perhaps
so you get a discount if you refer a friend.
Here's the deal: if you come down here, by the way, veterans and active duty, it's like half price.
Nice.
So if you're going to come visit me next time and you want to do it,
I'll bring my military ID.
Bring your military ID, and I mean seriously, give me enough advance notice, and I'll hook you up and get you set up, and you'll save a lot of money. My gosh, if I had a military ID, geez, I'd be there every other week.
Yeah. Oh, good.
Yeah. So
maybe we should open one of those.
Well, seriously, if you try and you like it, see, we're always looking for that retirement business. This might be it. Go. But I will say that one reason people, by the way, this is an extremely good treatment for PTSD, and that's one reason they're open the doors to veterans and active duty is because, as you well know, unfortunately, a lot of our soldiers are experiencing that, and even people who aren't soldiers can experience. Traumatic
stress.
Yeah,
sure.
Sure. Yeah, I've got my own issues. Nothing as bad as a soldier, but anyway, we all have our issues. So this is a very beneficial thing. So tell you what. So what's going on with this episode this week?
For our listeners, this is obviously this episode is an homage to a race of people that are our namesake. Show is named after one of their erotic activities of the Ferengi.
That is correct. I was thinking you were going to say this show was an homage to The Godfather.
There is some of that as well. Yeah. But and then the other thing I wanted to caution.
Oh.
Please.
Oh.
While discussing this episode, articulation is vital. Accurate articulation of the Grand Nagus is very important.
Oh.
Oh.
Yeah, that's true.
This could go wrong on many levels.
Nagus is spelled Nagus.
Yes.
Yes.
So I don't know if there was any forethought.
No, I don't think there was.
Given when they came up with that name.
I don't think so.
But if it's said quickly, it could cause
it could be
misinterpretation.
like a bad rap song. Well, I think it's a variation on a word.
I think they opened for NWA.
Oh my god!
In the 90s.
No, I think I read, and I pride myself on not doing it too terribly much research, but I think Ira Stephen Bear came up with this, and he came up with the rules of acquisition on this one too. But I think
it got started on this one,
right? And
number one.
I'm trying to think. He had the word Nagus is based on a similar word. I'm trying to think about what he. I think there's a word related to it's like a similar word to Nagus, but spelled differently, and it might be an East Indian word for grand leader or something, and that's where he got the word Nagus. But yeah, if you say it really fast and not careful, it could sound like those. Yeah. All right. So.
Okay. So, just got that out of the way.
Get that out of the way.
I do that also because this episode there's not a ton of redeeming qualities of this episode. It's it's another that is kind of quintessential season 1 fare, where you have 2 minor plot lines running in parallel and
very minor, yeah.
And then by the end of the show, it's kind of a standalone. There isn't a lot of there's some character development, but there isn't something that is critical to the overall overarching plot themes of Deep Space.
There's some world building going on though with the Ferengi here. We can talk about it at the end, but there is some definitive changing of the Ferengi character in this episode.
Agreed. Yeah, but both that includes Nog as well as Quark,
and the Nagus.
And the Grand Nagus.
The Grand Nagus.
Yeah. Yes. Show opens and Grand Nagus shows up and walks into Quark's. They're making a big hubbub about it. Everyone's kissing his staff. Kiss my staff. Yes. And
oh my god.
Okay, so they, and then he wants Quark's 5 favorite holosuite programs, one of which coincidentally is floating in a very quiet sea of Epsom salt. Who knew? You do that for an hour, and then someone rubs your lobes.
Oh, if only I could have got some lobe rubbing at the end of mine.
Yeah. Or staff kiss.
Or some staff kiss.
Whatever it takes there. Okay, so...
That's terrible. Oh, my God.
Yeah, so I mean, the episode is really... Because, I mean, we've already gone way over what we had...
I know, we're supposed to be done by now.
Planned for this episode.
Let's just blaze through this, shall we?
So we'll blaze through it. The 2 primary plot lines you've got...
God, well, tell me about it.
This Ferengi Godfather plot,
right?
Where they're
Grand Nagus Zek and his son.
He hands off Grand Nagus powers to Quark.
I'm going to make him an offer he can't refuse.
Thus thwarting Cracks, his son.
And then there's
backsacking Cracks.
There's an assassination attempt, and so that brings in a couple of the standard characters: O'Brien,
Who is substitute teaching for Keiko.
Yeah, Kira, who's expert on improvised explosive devices, and
you have Cisco, who's continually, I don't want my son playing with that Ferengi boy.
Right, and so then that spills over into plot line 2, which is Jake and Nog. Nog is not paying attention and not plugging in at school, some of which is probably because he can't read, and so he's not participating. Miles asks for everyone's assignment, and Nog lies
instead of Vulcan ate his homework.
Yeah, and then Jake covers for him, and Miles is raises an eyebrow about that, and mentions that suspicion about Nog being kind of the wrong crowd to Cisco. Cisco spends the entire episode being suspicious and encouraging the two boys to separate when Nog is trying to be drawn back into the more traditional Ferengi role. And then we get to the end of the episode when all is revealed. Ta-da! Jake is teaching Nog on the side because he's not able to go to school because of his dad, and so they're hiding out, and Jake's teaching him, and so Cisco oversees that, and now he's gains this, has this new appreciation for both his son. You all right there, Squeaky?
Sorry about that. I was leaning back in my captain's chair, and it betrayed a. Oh, excuse me. Sorry. Go ahead. How embarrassing. Rule of acquisition number 212: a squeaky chair does not cover up a fart noise. Oh, that's embarrassing.
Yes.
Rule of acquisition 190: hear all, trust nothing. Go ahead.
All right. Well, we are exposed to, besides the gaseous anomaly, we are exposed to rule of acquisition number 1. So had been hinted at previously that this is the first episode in which it is formally called a rule of acquisition.
Once you have their money, you never give it back.
Never give it back. Yeah. A returned purse is leads to that, but so I forgot the Grand Nagus.
Okay,
what's that actor's name?
That's Wallace Shawn of
of
My Dinner with Andre fame.
My Dinner with Andre, and wasn't he in The Princess Bride as well?
I don't think that word means what you think it does.
Why are you doing that?
Making sure nobody's follow us.
That would be inconceivable.
Despite what you think, you will be caught. And when you are, the prince will see you all hanged.
You're sure nobody's follow us?
As I told you, it would be absolutely, totally, and in all other ways, inconceivable. No one in Gilder knows what we've done, and no one in Florin could have gotten here so fast.
He's climbing the rope. And he's gaining on us.
Inconceivable. Faster!
I thought I was going faster. You got very good arms.
He didn't fall? Inconceivable.
You keep using the word. I don't think it means what you think it means.
Inconceivable! Give her to me. Catch up with us quickly.
What did I do?
Finish him. Finish him. Your way.
Oh, good. My way. Thank you, Nzidi. Which was
What, Grand Nagus?
No, that's from The Princess Bride. Yes. Oh, my God.
God, well, tell me about it.
Tell me more, Quark.
Oh, my God. Do it again, because I'm gonna find that drop in, and so give me your best Wally Shawn.
Quark, tell me more.
God, well, tell me about it.
Tell me more, Quark.
That movie, John, My Dinner with Andre, you made me watch that back 25, 30 years ago. You made me watch that one. You're like, this great movie. It's just... And I freaking had put toothpicks in my eyes to stay awake. If these two guys having dinner, I think we should watch it again now that we're old and see if it makes more sense to us. But Andre Gregory...
God, well, tell me about it.
Seemed to me like the height of just... he was very full of himself, I thought. And I thought...
Oh, yeah. Well, and the whole concept of taking a James Joyce stream of consciousness and applying it to a movie.
Right.
God, well, tell me about it.
In theory, sounds very existential and cool and good and but turns out being very pretensive and
I'm gonna watch it again. Do you think we should watch it again together, or should I just watch it on my own?
Sure. Well, maybe we could talk about it. We could take a break from DS9 and talk about it next week.
Well, considering
if we can find it on one of the streaming services, we'll see.
Well, considering the dearth of decent episodes that we've got ahead of us, we might want to.
Yeah, it's pretty gray.
Yeah, I mean, you know what, folks? We're not going to... I mean, I don't see any reason to get much deeper into this one. I mean, this was good. Let's lay it down.
God, well, tell me about it.
This was good because it was a comedic episode that kind of works in that way. It was entertaining in that regard. It was an homage to The Godfather. That was clever and that was funny. And we could sit here and pick that apart and I could tell you. But guess what? Go to Memory Alpha and you'll find all that. Okay, we're not going to sit here and rehash that for you. I think it gave a dimension to the Ferengi, which were ill-conceived bad guys from the beginning of the Star Trek The Next Generation. I think they found their place here. I don't like the idea of them strictly being a punchline, but the good news is that particular concept of them being a punchline is redeemed later in DS9, so we'll get to that eventually, I think.
God, well, tell me about it.
I think it was good that Sisko accepted that his son could have a friend who wasn't exactly what he wanted, because he realized that Nog brought out the best in Jake.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a good thing. He also, yes, he brought out Jake covering for Nog when he's lying, but he also brought out the best in Jake, and that Jake wanted to help Nog learn to read. And I think this episode, that's what you have here. I mean, I don't think you see significant character development from anybody else other than Jake, Nog, and the other Ferengi.
Yeah, and Sisko a little bit. Yeah, covering a little bit of his anti-Ferengi racism.
Good point.
Yeah.
So, what do you think? Do you want to go right to the Latinum on this one, or you have more to say?
Sure. Yeah, we can do that.
Okay.
I mean,
I
want me to go first? I'll give it a solid 3.
Ooh,
I thought it was 3 out of 5. Yeah, I mean, because we've had some that I gave a 2, and this is better than some of those. So you have to step it up. Once you set the bar at a certain, or the bars at a certain level, you have to gauge it relative to those other episodes. And I would say it's a 3. There were some entertaining points. It was, I did laugh a few times, and then again, I love Jake and Sisko, and so all those little things that none of the previous series really explored with much depth. The closest would be Beverly and Wesley. I mean, what's the closest analogous relationship in one of the previous series? So this one just had so much more life to it. To see a dad and son that have both experienced law, and they basically just have each other, and they're growing together.
Fair enough. By the way, speaking of Beverly Crusher, I recently rewatched an episode of TNG, the one called Attached, I think, where she and Picard were like attached kind of mentally by... They got kidnapped and they put like these probes on them so they couldn't get too far away from each other. They could read each other's thoughts.
Like Corsican Brothers kind of thing?
Well, that or maybe, yeah, I guess. But I mean, it was really Corsican. Oh, God. But it was good. Gates McFadden did a magnificent job with it. I mean, she gets kind of maligned as being, and I always thought she was great, but I've heard a lot of people say, she's, But, I think Gates always rose to what was written for her and that episode. But so it just reminded me, and I liked it. I liked Gates McFadden's performance as Crusher when Will Wheaton moved on and then he was out of the show. She was kind of in the shadow of this, godchild,
right.
Wesley. And once he was gone, and then they gave her something to work with, which really was this very moving story. And then at the end, it's like Picard is like, perhaps we should look it up, and she's like, no, it was really good. Anyway, so you brought that up and reminded me. Yeah, so you gave it three bars of gold pressed platinum.
Yes.
You got me on that one. I'm going to give this grudgingly 3. I'm going to tell you something. There's a lot of Ferengi episodes in this series that really stink. And this one doesn't stink. But this one is not. I don't think it's great. It's not the best Ferengi episode. But you know what? I'm going to give it 3 stars. Bare minimum 3 stars. Gold pressed platinum myself.
All right. Very good.
Let me ask you this. Was there any Deep Sex 9 for you in this episode?
God, well, tell me about it.
Just my imagination of what was on those holosuite programs.
Yeah, me too.
If that's the 5 very best, there's got to be some of those green ladies. There's
Orion slave girls. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, you've got them all. You've got them all right there.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, just aside from my usual enjoying Kira, but again, Deep Sex 9. It's not a sexist like who looks hot. It's just like it's a romantic or sexy thing. And this one, I'm sorry, you bring those lobes into the equation. There's not a whole lot of romance or sex that's sexy.
No,
it's just
no. Agreed.
So. All right. So, any other final notes about the Nagus?
No.
I'll just add
none for me.
The obvious Godfather allusions and homages. There's a scene where Quark is sitting almost identically to the way Don Corleone was in The Godfather. There's like blinds behind him. The only thing Quark didn't have at one point when he was the temporary Nagus was like a cat. He didn't sit there and stroke a cat, and go,
right.
But anyway, so there was that. Yeah. So, okay, so no Deep Sex 9 on that one. No other notes, so that's good. So next time, ladies and gentlemen, what's coming up next? Odo arrives at Quark suspecting that he's doing business with the Miradorn's raider that just docked, and they also discuss a quiet customer who's sitting at the other end of the bar. Just then, a pair of Miradorn twins enter the bar and nod in Quark's direction. Quark heads up to a holosuite and asks Rom to bring up some drinks. Odo morphs into one of the glasses to eavesdrop on the meeting in the episode known as Vortex. So that's what's coming up. And if you're wearing your Vortex, you will be protected from rain. And
I was thinking, I saw, I'm not sure if it was NASA that published it, but there is a great 3D visualization of our solar system in motion that takes into account the motion of the sun.
The wobble, is that what we're...
No, just the fact that the sun's moving at whatever, 70,000 miles an hour as well. So all the planets are trying to go around it, but they're also trailing behind it as it moves, and so because the sun is basically creating a gravitational vortex, and so they're spend their life spinning around trying to catch up. It's almost like it's great to watch. Just look at it on the YouTube or the interwebs. Just Google it up and search for it and watch it. It's really it's very interesting. It's about a 3-minute video, and it has some words will pop up that just blow your mind.
John, if you'll send me the link, I can put it in the show notes.
Please do. Yeah, and we can put it on our Twitter feed as well.
Right, and don't forget, if you are not a Twitter person or a Facebook person, we only need about 8 more reviews, positive reviews, on the iTunes. In fact, through the magic of editing, I'll go look right now, and it won't seem like any time at all. Let me just see if we've had any other reviews here real quick. Nope, we are still at 2 positive reviews. We've got a 5-star and a 4-star review. We only need 8 more before Halloween, and we'll go to a Facebook page for you, and we will design. John will design some T-shirts, and we will give away T-shirts every month to promote the show.
Yes.
Boy, it doesn't get any easier than just getting on iTunes and doing a review. One of our good friends of the show, Mike Finney, has suggested that we include a tutorial on how to do an iTunes review, and that's something we're looking into. Frankly, it's just been such a tiring summer, frankly, for me in particular, John as well, that I just have not gotten around to that. I produce and edit most of the shows, although I am going to try to teach John how to edit shows, because it'd be great if we could split that up. I'm not saying it like he's the slacker. It's just he doesn't have the background. But if I taught him, I know he could do it. But it's like the last time we got together, we got really busy drinking and couldn't get around to that.
Yes, that seems. I think that will happen anytime we get together.
I think I'm going to see you again at least in October, and we're going to be so busy with football and dinner
and drinking
that we're not going to get around to shit. So it doesn't matter.
We might be able to get an episode in. You never know.
Well, my thanks to Finney Can Help for his review, and my thanks to Brian H 1968 for his 4-star review. He says, what a fun show. Finney Can Help said, the content is quite fun. Parts of the show got me laughing out loud. Others parts made me shake my head. There's more. Go to iTunes and look up Audio Oomox for more. Okay, well, we have gone on about floating and other things. Is there anything else we need to cover before we call this one a night?
Nope.
So good, John, to speak with you, and so good for all of you listeners to tune in and check us out.
Yes, thank you.
Bear in mind, we have competition, we know, but we appreciate you who stick with us because we offer something perhaps a little different than other podcasts, and part of that fuel for us is to get a review or a nice thumbs up on Twitter. So on the Twitter at Oomox Podcast, and of course we're on iTunes at Audio Oomox. So, if there's nothing else, until next time, he is
John Christopher.
I am Simon Van Gelder. Until next time, the docking ring is closed.
God, well, tell me about it.